You're listening to Parasearch UK Radio. News, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Great Paranormal Debate with hosts Kerry and Paul on Parasearch UK Radio.
Good evening and welcome. I'm not sure if you was prepared for my dulcet tones this evening. Paul has gone AWOL, so it is just me, and I've brought on a friend with me this evening, and I've teamed up with a Kerry Greenaway. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're very welcome. Yeah, pulled onto the show at the last minute. Gotta love it, haven't you? Good old Paul.
Well, do you know what? I do love our shows, and I do love what we get up to. So I'm surprised. I'm looking forward to doing the show with you this evening, Kerry.
Yeah, it's been too long, I feel.
I know, and you know, you can only go so long without a Kerry sandwich.
Well, this is true. Kerry sandwich is back into house.
Exactly, and it's definitely something that's been missing lately from the paranormal. Don't you agree?
Oh gosh, yes. Yes.
So I don't know how much debating there's going to be here tonight, because we are one of the same somewhat when it comes to our opinions, but I know that there is certain aspects of what's going to come up, because we've discussed some of these articles already in preparation of the shows, and there's some aspects that we aren't quite agreeing on, but there's some that we are. So it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is. But we have, in the past, come to loggerheads over certain things before now, so you never know. You never quite know.
This is true, but I know definitely one thing's for certain. I won't be debating tonight whether they've got more chance of becoming a zombie or aliens coming to get us, or even better, time travel than we have Encounter in the Spirit, which is also a plus for me this evening, because that is something I will tell you right now, guys, it's been frustrating me all week. I cannot understand someone that would quite happily agree about technically, no, it wasn't technically, how did he put it? It could possibly happen. We could possibly have zombies, guys.
Yeah.
And we could possibly travel in time, not backwards, maybe add, but forwards. But yet there is no such things, and there's no evidence as such regarding paranormal spirits and ghosts and all them kind of fun, exciting things. So I'm looking forward to that this evening.
Oh yes, a sensible show. Well, you know, a girly sensible show. It could get very silly at times, but you know.
No, it is good fun. But I've got to tell you, I've come across a fascinating article actually, moving quite swiftly onto the show. It's regarding the new paranormal research centre that's opened up in Hinckley.
Oh yes, Neil Packer's.
This place sounds like my mecca. I'm not going to lie. It sounds amazing. Now, the Leicester Mercury has actually run an article on these guys, and we was hoping to have a quick chat with Neil, but he's had such a busy day today with the opening of his paranormal research centre. But it sounds like my kind of party. I'm not going to lie. How do you feel about this?
You know what? He's done an amazing job. When we very first spoke to him on Parasearch, which was, about a year ago, I think, he just had it in his carport, you know, a few objects in his carport. So where he's come from to where he's got to today is absolutely phenomenal. And his following is huge as well. He does live feeds on Facebook, and they're so interesting if you sit down and actually have a watch. He gets so much interaction and people, linking in and interacting with it. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm it's on the cards to visit this year, this place. We're not able to do the press weekend, the launch weekend for him, but it is on the cards to visit this location with him, because the actual location itself is haunted as well.
Yes, well, I mean, I was reading in this article, and definitely, what I love the most about this is he says that there's even an area where you can sit and chat with like-minded people, and that really sung to my soul because, like I said, it sounds like my kind of party, and to be able to kind of meet with people that have the same interests as you, that sounds like a great opportunity, as well as, I mean, coupling that with the objects and the location and stuff, it just sounds like a paranormal person's wet dream, doesn't it? Without being crude.
Yeah, it certainly does. And he's got over 50 items now in this place.
It does. I mean, in the article, I will say, I don't know the answer to this, so I'm going to ask you. But is the team that he belongs to called the Haunted Heritage Paranormal Team, or is that an unrelated video that's linked to the page?
I know he calls. I don't, but I know he calls his ladies his angels.
Oh, bless him!
I know, honestly,
that's so cute.
It is. They're lovely. All of them are so lovely, and I'm so proud that they've done this and have got out there. And now that there's a centre for this, this is almost like the UK's Zach Baggins kind of haunted museum, isn't it? I love this because and like you say, because there's that community feel about it as well. It's open to the public. Yes. It's going to be open to teams as well. He's going to be doing chances for teams to go in and do investigation, small teams obviously, not event teams, to go in and be able to investigate as well. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. All kudos to the team. Fantastic achievement.
It is amazing, and I can imagine the work that's gone into this. I mean, reading this article, it says Neil was keen to locate the centre in a building with history, and he found the ideal place, a haunted building in Regent Street, Hinckley. He said that his team spent the night investigating the building, and his guest medium picked up on several spirits, which was amazing. And the centre will feature a main exhibition room containing all the haunted items, which people will be able to pick up and sit in, then record their feelings in a day book to be included in the research. I mean, that is fantastic. That would be amazing to kind of see develop as well. An ongoing experiment. How fantastic would that be? And to know that you're a part of that as well, that would be amazing. Honestly, I'm really excited about this place, and I haven't even been. And I'll be honest with you, it's only today speaking to you that I really knew what was, that I've come across this, being absent from the paranormal for a while. And it looks fantastic. It looks amazing.
It's definitely one worth a visit, I would definitely say, because, like you said, it's just like an ongoing experiment, completely ongoing, and it's going to pull in the right people to do those experiments with these objects as well. And who knows what data is going to come out of that? Who knows where this is going to lead. But as I say, he's had some really interesting results with his live feeds. Been watching him quite closely since we very first interviewed him. We had him back on the Paranormal Concept show recently with Paul. And oh, hello, got a phone call. That's you, babe.
That is me, and I'm trying to put the phone down, and he won't let me. Sorry.
See, all those people going, I'll come to the to this. As we were invited this weekend for the launch, the opening of the centre, but unfortunately, none of us could get up there. We all have other commitments, but it is definitely on the cards for some point this year for Parasearch to go. It's. I'm so proud of them. I have to say, it's one thing I'm so made up for them that they've managed to achieve this. And like I say, who knows what data is going to be able to be collected through this, because the people I mix with, they love a bit of data.
Well, the centre will be opening each Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. from the 3rd of March. And there's also going to be plans to hold overnight investigations, like Kerry said. So get in there, guys. The only way these places work is if we support them. And the only way we have these opportunities if we support them as well. So this is a fantastic opportunity for everyone that's in the paranormal field that's interested in, like Kerry said, the data or the investigation side of things, or just have an interest in the haunted objects and stuff like that. I mean, the last experiment we did with the radio in regards to our haunted objects, which, by the way, guys, we can't reveal because that was Paul. Paul has all the information, so that's going on for another week. But even that has so much interested in. So this is an aspect of the paranormal that you guys are really interested in. The only, these kind of places need our support and need the community support as well. And it's a great, Kerry said, a great opportunity to make the most of something we all enjoy and also be able to network with other teams, which is also essential within the paranormal community regarding, information that we can share amongst each other and stuff. So it's fantastic. There's so many opportunities just in one place. So I'm super excited, and well done, guys, and thank you for making it happen. Definitely.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with all of that. Yay.
So we were talking about what if, about the data that could come from this this kind of the kind of information that could come from sidetracked kind of information that we can get from this location in regards to paranormal, and what research can come from this, and what data we can get, which is fantastic. So it brings us to our next article. I know there's a lot of diver in there, sorry guys, but this brings us to our next article that me and Kerry looked at, which was super interesting. And the actual title of the article itself said, what would happen? Scientists warn that information from aliens could be detrimental to Earth. Which we found. There's scientists involved, guys.
No, they got upgraded through the article. If you read the article, they start off as just researchers, and then by the end of the article, they are now full-blown scientists. Well, so that point completely was just like, that's one thing I picked up out of this article. Forget the rest of it. That was just one thing I picked up out of the article.
Researchers in one way or another, scientific in their methods.
Possibly.
Really scientists. I mean, straight in with the headlines is message received from aliens could ruin life on Earth. Now, the reason why I link the two, although it's completely different, is me and Kerry often talk about the effect that it could have in society if we was actually able to prove evidence of life after life in regards to different beliefs and different kind of belief systems and stuff like that. So linking that but not linking it, this article was quite interesting. So this article says messages sent by aliens from space could destroy life as we know it on Earth if we're not careful about how we read them. Scientists have warned that there is scientists involved, which is amazing that scientists have got involved.
A side project, I feel.
There's a new paper explores, I would like to read this paper. A new paper explores how we might read and understand a message that comes from space, and find that it would be impossible to know that a message was dangerous before we opened it. Oh, jeez. In fact, the messages are so dangerous that it could be safest to simply discard them without ever reading them, scientists have warned. So, okay, there's so many problems I have with this article. I mean, I haven't picked it for the fact that there's,
Oh, you gotta love it, haven't you?
So the first thing I've got is, the word scientist.
Uh-huh.
Because that can be a little bit misleading.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my first issues. The second one is that
this is where Kerry's probably shouting at the children. This article is very, very strange. It's scaremongering from the highest level. It's messages that are supposed to be coming from outer space, basically, to us from aliens. How would these messages? I mean, like message in a bottle? Are they going to send us a letter? Is it an email? I mean,
the doorstep, and that we're going to open it, and it's going to be, I don't want to make reference to anything that's offensive, but the way it kind of is portrayed is that it's not just going to be the words that are going to be damaging, that there's going to be something detrimental. But if you think about this, now this is just assuming that aliens exist, and this is assuming that they are going to send us a letter through the post, and this is assuming that the Royal Mail can get it to us in time. is assuming so much, why are we being told to ignore any information that's being given to us? I mean, that's the first one. Taking this seriously.
Okay, so we are going on the assumption that the aliens do exist and they're going to try and contact us by message rather than just coming down in their spaceship.
And then you've got someone that got nothing to see here, guys.
Don't read it. It's fine. It's dangerous.
Icky aliens trying to get on here and messaging people. Oh, my God. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing? So you're not only saying that, guys, there's no such thing as aliens, but scientists have said
Allegedly.
that if there was, on the off chance, don't read because of that's it for you.
Yeah.
You know? And you can just imagine that. Well, we did warn you. We did tell you not to do it. You know.
Yeah, you know.
But that's why I find it so interesting about this article, because it assumes so much, and it expects us to assume so much.
Yeah.
But then it also kind of says that we're going to bring this attention to you, but you haven't really got anything to worry about. Just keep on going, and just ignore, the fact that we've even brought this message to you. Also, one of the things that he says as well is like he worries about the interpretation. Now, interpretation, moving it from away from aliens to stuff like mediumship and stuff like that, or even day-to-day life, our interpretations of what we see might not necessarily be what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Our perceptions change our views on what we're kind of confronted with. So that I'm assuming they're trying to say is your interpretation of this message might not be its intention and therefore dangerous for you. I am interested in finding the origin of this article, to be fair, and wondering whether it's got any... Oh, no, it can't be. It's actually an independent.co.uk news article. It's been a dry week, guys. Yeah, it's been a dry week. It's unlikely that any civilization will come into contact with would be harmed. Researchers Michael Hipke and John G. Learned, writing a new study, post on... Now, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this word, guys, but I'm going to spell it for you. It's ARXIV.org. So that's where the study's been posted for anyone that's interested. It says, but it's impossible to know what the message was saying before you read it. The safest scenario would be to avoid doing so entirely. That's like saying, don't push the red button, guys. That big red button, don't push it. We don't know what's going to happen, all right? But just don't do it. So yeah, so that's my funny find today.
Well, they also say it would be cheaper for aliens to send us a message in this way rather than sending a great big, I like the word, they use battleship, not spaceship. I mean, the whole thing is screaming scaremongering is all I can say on this one.
I love the fact that that's your issue with this article.
Well, they bring in so many different facets to this. They bring in, it could be something that's going to, bring all our belief systems into question and, erode our society as we know it. Do you not think aliens coming down in a spaceship would do that? I think so. That they bring AI into it. They talk about building a prison on the moon to interrogate this artificial intelligence thing that's come down. I mean, there's so many things. It could be a computer virus that destroys all the networks on Earth. There's so much to this article that is scaremongering. They even bring in nanobots and stuff like that. I mean, if every little thing they could include that would be horrendously bad for humanity if it came from outer space. I mean, I've just finished watching a series called Falling Skies where aliens come down and take, big war, alien invasion type kind of series. And it just basically screams this. You know what I mean? It just screams a television series.
I think my main issue with this is that I don't not believe in aliens. I just choose not to accept that they may be there. That's not me challenging their existence at all, and me not being disrespectful to anyone's belief system or their kind of what they believe. But me personally, that's how I feel. So that's what but there's a lot of assumptions made here, but it's also contradicting. So it's like on one hand it's saying it's very unlikely that they exist, like I said already. But also, on the other hand, don't read the message they're going to send.
Yeah,
So it's like, and it's in the Independent. It made the Independent as well.
I know.
And, oh, geez.
It's had 1,000 shares.
Oh, of course it did, because you can't get the message out there. Don't do it, guys. Don't open the message, because you never know, it might be filled with chocolate.
Like we're all going to get like a little email in our inbox going, "Hi, I'm an alien. Open."
Easter eggs.
You know, open me. You know, most people would look at that and go, spam, or, oh, that's a virus. Do you know what I mean? But only because of what we tend to get in our inboxes anyway. But if how would they word it even to make someone go, ooh, that's a real life alien, contact it? Most people are going to go.
His name's going to be John, and he'll be a prince from somewhere. He's in financial difficulty and just needs someone to send over £250. That's how I reckon it's going to be. It'd be in your spam box.
Yeah, you just send me £250. I can launch my battleship, the word they used, my battleship to come down to Earth. But in the meantime, I'm just going to send out a round-robin email to everybody on Earth. See how many people that actually send me my £250. Yeah.
Into their bank account.
Yeah, into the bank account that just happens to be in Nigeria because it's the cheapest rates. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we went so far and then you took it the rest of the way. I love it.
Oh, I love the way you're so careful and I'm not. Oh, dear.
As much as I absolutely love the alien side of things and all that kind of stuff, I kind of so super conscious. I didn't talk about that time last week, but we come across another article as well. I've got to talk about it, Kerry. I'm so sorry. We talked about it briefly last week, and we're going to share an article. But it's about the new Haunted series that's on TV now. Barry Gary, a guy that we interviewed not so long ago, is part of the show. And he kind of touched upon what was happening, and we obviously couldn't give too much away. But it's on at the moment, and it's called the Celebrity Haunted Mansion, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And so obviously, there's going to be loads and loads of articles that are flooding the newspapers at the moment. Because we kind of discussed last week, like, is this kind of material, how is that affecting how people see us researchers in regards to those that haven't really had any kind of experience with investigators? Are these kind of shows doing us any favours really? If anything, they're bringing things into forefront so people are talking more about it. But we have found some articles because there's been apparent activity, hasn't there?
Apparently so, yeah. And again, wording is very integral in this. Attacked by a ghost.
Yeah, definitely got real. Definitely
Oh, shit went down is all I'm saying. Oh, dear. No, I have to say, my personal opinion on these is please stop. Please stop doing the reality TV shows with the reality TV stars. Please stop. We have enough programs on paranormal investigations that we don't need the reality TV factor in this. But obviously they get the ratings, so obviously there's a demand, so obviously that's why they keep doing it. So
this part of the radio is going to be a little bit like the alien article, because I'm going to say, but please don't stop. I love these shows. I love to hate them. I love to hate them. They make me cringe. I find it very uncomfortable. It's very much like that car crash that you don't want to look at, but you know it's going to happen, and you're just going to look anyway, even though you want to look away. You just roll your eyes, throw your hands up in the air, and ask yourself, what the hell is this stuff? But then you're going to watch it all the way through, and at the end of it, you're going to go, oh, too bad. Even though it was. Because you're lying to yourself, because you know you're going to watch the next one.
Oh.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But this one in particular, it's got a video attached, so we're going to share the article in the chat room.
Yep, done that.
And it says, Corey creeped out. Coronation Street Simon Gregson gets attacked by a ghost in Celebrity Haunted Mansion. Now, I love these kind of articles because it highlights a lot of kind of what we've spoken about before, me and Kerry in the past, and about manifestation of energy, and also how an ambience can also create. So if you're expecting something, smallest thing, you're twinging your arm because you've got a muscle spasm, or anything can be super vigilant for. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with this. Like, did he get touched? I don't know. He responded like he did.
Well, the laugh of it was they found a piece of straw on the floor, to which the host picked it up and tried hitting him on the arm to try and recreate. Is it like this? That wouldn't have created that, would that?
Oh,
and
of course.
And to be fair, the way that they made Simon sound as if he'd like run screaming from the room, he didn't. He was actually quite cool and collected about it in the video. He was just like, "Oh, someone's just touched my arm," that was a bit strange. Whereas, like, bless. But then, having said that, at least they tried to, I suppose, in the dark, a bit of straw, it could have been a stick, could have fallen, could have hit him. At least they had a go at debunking it, I suppose. I have a major issue with these kind of programmes in general, in regards to the paranormal. I love a bit of reality TV, don't get me wrong. But in regards to the paranormal, I do have an issue with these programmes in general. So I am very biased in my opinion of these kind of articles, But like I say, there must be a demand for them, because this is like, they keep doing them. So there must be a demand for them. People must be watching it.
I think my issue with them is that as serious researchers, we find it hard to be accepted within the norms of society anyway. We have that stigma that if we are running around in the dark with a bunch of people in the woods, that we're kind of like not quite there, as in we're quite strange people. Also, the thing is, you've got this other side of things, that death is quite, as British people in general, I think we struggle with death. We struggle with the thought of talking to someone that's passed over because of that concept. So I think we should just get like the Victorians and embrace it, to be fair. I think it would be so much easier. People have got a fascination with it, but then don't want to do anything about it because of the preconceptions of what it is and how it is. And my personal opinion, I think that is based in our modern day kind of religious teachings and stuff like that in regards to what the paranormal and the ghosts are. And I think that's what people struggle with as well. I think there's just so much. But then people, again, the same as me, they want to know, but they don't want to know. They want to watch, but they don't want to watch. They want to watch afar, but they don't want to be in amongst it. And, I was talking about this with my friends in a couple of days ago, and they're quite happy about me talking about things, but as soon as I make it personal or it becomes about a location or a situation that might surround them, I need to stop. It's too close, too uncomfortable. So they want to know from a distance. They're quite happy to find out what I do. What they say about me behind my back, I don't know.
Don't care.
No, because it's been part of my life for so long. It's normal, it's natural.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to, comprehend someone that hasn't got an interest in this or would take it seriously. But at the same time, I think that these kind of shows bring it to the forefront. I think that they kind of make people discuss things a little bit more, give people opportunities to find out what it is. But then for those that don't want to and just watch, I think that there's an injustice there, because they're only seeing what they're seeing on TV, and it's important to remember that TV is entertainment purposes, and that's what they're going to get. They're going to get the entertainment.
Yeah, see, I do not have a problem with paranormal TV shows in general. I have a problem with reality TV paranormal shows. There's a difference. You know what I mean? I can sit there and happily watch a Most Haunted or a Ghost Adventures and get exactly the same, thrill factor from that as, but when I watch the reality TV shows, that's where I think it takes it a step too far, in regards to ridicule. In regards to ridicule. Whereas, yes, you can watch a Ghost Hunters or a Ghost Adventures or a, Ghost Busters. You can watch one of the paranormal TV shows, and it's interesting because you'll see locations that you may want to put on your bucket list and may or may not get access to. You'll see equipment being used, may not necessarily be in the right way. Their opinions and their viewpoints of how they present that might not be right, but at least you're getting a snapshot of what is up and coming, because they tend to have quite cutting edge equipment uses. You'll learn different techniques. Even if you don't agree with them, you'll learn more. Yes, it's not how we do it when we do it in the field, but it's definitely better watching than a bunch of reality TV stars shrieking, carrying on, jumping at shadows. And that is the problem I have, is in reality TV. As I have no problem with paranormal television shows. I think they've actually helped the field in regards to bringing a lot more people into the field, and those people have gone from being a TV ghost hunter kind of person into, well, actually, I want to learn more, I want to know why, and progress them into researchers. I think we've done shows on this, and we've actually come out with more positives than we have negatives, whereas the reality TV show, I think it takes it to the one step too far to ridicule, and that's the problem I have with the reality TV. But as I say, there must be a demand for it because they keep doing it. So people must be watching it. And if people are watching it, they're going to get the ratings, they're going to get the advertising, and it's money generated. And it's obviously entertaining for people.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's like massive platforms there. If you use these opportunities correctly, locations are able to put their, even if it's been put out there in a, a dramatic kind of way, locations are able to showcase their kind of location and what that type of location is harbouring. And it's great. And you are being told, you do have an insight on how certain things are being done. But again, like you said, it's too far. And it's, I remember the first time I ever went on an investigation. Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. And I remember we went to Hockley Woods with a team, and there was about 12 of us. And I was absolutely scared crapless. But I was going regardless because of the adrenaline. I wanted, it was, and I went. And they turned on the spirit box, and I absolutely crapped myself to the point they actually chased me with the spirit box. Because in a non-subtle way, it was like, it's a bit like that. As I kind of like darted in between people as he kind of followed me around with his spirit box. In the end, I had to leave. So if you're thinking that these people are going into these locations, never investigating before, that is what they're running on. So
that's true, but...
I know.
Personal bugbear, I suppose you would call it. But yeah, but then I'm quite serious about stuff. So
no, I think, yeah, like I said, it's a guilty pleasure for me. I admit that I like it, but I'm also, it's like that secret lemonade drinker. That's kind of what I am with the reality TV show. But I do love it. But do I think that they do more damage than good to the community? Yes, I do. I do think they do more damage than good in the community, in regards to how we're perceived because of TV shows. Mm-hmm. Do I think it also creates great opportunities? Yeah, I think it does for locations and so forth. But I just wish they were showcased a little better. In my personal opinion, our American cousins seem to, I don't know, from what I've seen, handle the paranormal a little bit better than some of the British people over here. Is that a really strong statement to make? Not a lot of evidence back here.
Oh dear.
Possibly.
Well, I haven't seen them do a reality paranormal show yet.
But then we have this haunted mansion thing. Sorry, has got the guy from Taps on here, and has got Jack Osborne.
It has. Why, if it's a UK show, why have they got American hosts?
I think this is the one that Zach Baggins was involved with, Kel.
Quite possibly. And if I ever get to meet Zach, I will be going, why? Why did you do that? Why? But then there's a few things I'll be saying that to Zach about. But Zach, I love you. Please take your shirt off for me. You're so pretty. But that's a personal opinion, just saying. Hashtag. Hashtag my guilty pleasure. I'm actually blushing right now.
Well, it might get to him or Johnny Depp while we're out there. Let's just put it out there. Do you know Johnny Depp?
I've kind of gone off Johnny, to be fair. I've moved on to Gerard Butler.
Do you know what? Talking about this, I'm sure there was meant to be a Beetlejuice film, a second Beetlejuice film that was due to come out. I'm sure.
I think they're filming now. I think they are filming it.
Do you know what? I would.
Are you going to say you want Zach Baggins in the Beetlejuice film? I'm going to cry.
No.
With his spirit box or his Connect SS, whatever it's called, going D-Man in the background.
I know. But going into the chat room, because we haven't really gone into there, and we've got Carly and Cole in there. Cole says, sadly, what we do in the field would not make good television. But these types of shows do get everyone talking about the paranormal, which can't be a bad thing. I agree, Cole, but then I don't agree. And we have Donna, and she says hello in the chat room, joining us with Carly and Carl. And, of course, we're in the chat room as well. So if you've got any questions, guys, about anything we're talking about, or you want to share your input, then please comment in the chat room, and we'll discuss further, and we love to hear your opinions. Donna says that's screaming, so I'm assuming that's they fake too much in reality TV.
Yeah,
so true, Donna. It is, and yes, the screaming does get to me too. I must admit. I remember we had one investigator that absolutely. I didn't notice how much people screamed until he pointed out how much he hated people screaming, and then 9 times out of 10, it was me that would be screaming.
Well,
times the badger.
But the badger was a very, very specific situation at the time. You know what I mean?
That was scary.
There was so much going on at that particular point in time, and this badger comes out the undergrowth at two of the team that had sort of like gone off, not far, but a little way, and they came. Hysterical, absolutely hysterical is all I can say on that one. I forgot all about that.
Poor Danny Lee.
You jumped into his arms.
No. What happened was I actually wrapped my... I'm not a small girl, guys. I am quite a voluptuous woman. And Danny Lee is the complete opposite. And this badger comes towards us. I literally wrapped my arms around this guy twice, picked him up, and was about to use him like a golf club. That or a snooker cue. Something was going to be done with him to get that badger away from me. And I actually hurt him, and not intentionally. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I did hurt him, bless him. But anyway, we diverse. Yes, we have 2 more articles which we've come across. One of them is the let's talk about the ghost of witch Jenny.
Green teeth. Honestly, I tell you what. Yes, let's talk about that one.
God, let's do this. It sounds like all prepared.
Oh, I've got this one in the bag. And yes, sorry, Carl. Zach taking his shirt off has got nothing to do with the paranormal. That's pure perv. Just saying.
Yes, it has everything to do with this show, Carl. Everything to do with this show.
All I'm saying is hashtag girls on a show.
When Paul goes. This is what happens when Paul goes. Usually we're debating about zombies and the ability to time travel, but no, not us. We are serious about the harassment of Zach.
Yeah, we are very serious about the harassment of Zach. Poor Zach. If I ever get to meet poor old Zach, he'll be like straight away stalker level.
It will definitely be used as something.
Oh, I'm probably scared alive at the poor man. Anyway, let's talk about Jenny Greenteeth.
Right, let's do
this. Oh my God. Carry on. Oh, I can't wait for you to ask my opinion on this one.
I'm just trying to bring it. Somebody's going so slow today. My internet's going really slow. It's not. Kel, you're going to have to take over once. No. Yeah, no, sorry, Kel, you have to read this out for me. Sorry.
Right, basically, a tourist claims to have caught the ghost of a witch who haunts St James's Cemetery on camera. The lady in question says she caught the sight of the spooky character whilst visiting on holiday from Perth in Australia. She visited St James's Cemetery after becoming curious of all the captures people were displaying on Facebook. So she joined a Merseyside paranormal group to go to this particular cemetery, and she took a photograph. Very interesting photograph, have to say. What you see initially on the article is a photograph of a zoomed in picture of the said ghost.
Yep.
Okay, so when you look at it, you go, oh yeah, it's quite interesting. Okay,
Yep.
So initial look at this zoomed in photo is very interesting. It looks like someone's walking away from the camera, so you can't see a face. You can see dark hair, looks like long dark hair going over the left shoulder, looks like some sort of long coat. They say it looks like it's got some form of pack or backpack or strapping across the back. There is a dark line across the back, I will give them that. And going on into the article, she said, I was curious of all the captures other members were displaying. And so she said, we were coming over for a holiday and we'd love to see the cemetery for herself. So they walked around the cemetery on a ghost walk. And basically, she caught this figure on the camera. Now, they do tell you where you can see this photo, but it's quite obvious, actually, in the zoomed up picture. Now, we were taken to the famous vampire stake grave, and as Keith was telling the story, I was drawn to another grave opposite to where everyone was, and she took 2 pictures. She didn't learn of the capture until the next morning, and her reaction was, oh my God, did I really catch something? And it was the last grave that she had been drawn to. I know my expressions are rubbing off from Mark. Oh my God, it's my American contingency that influenced my accent occasionally. She showed family members who said it was amazing, and she shared it with her friends on Facebook who also said it was amazing and totally awesome. Now, people have asked if there was anyone there when she took the picture, but she says she does remember those graves were overgrown, covered in stinging nettles, and you'd have to be brave to walk through there. So she's saying that there was nobody like walking through there because, to be fair, looking at the picture, the zoomed in picture, to be fair, it could be somebody with a hoodie. It could be somebody just walking through the undergrowth. It's not... Initially, I didn't go, ooh, ghost. Do you know what I mean? Now, they've put this to the witch Jenny Greenteeth, who is allegedly supposed to haunt the cemetery. But it also could be a man from around 1644, possibly Civil War, as apparently he had long black hair and a leather strap across his back. Then they show the zoomed out or the original photograph. Now, this is where I have issues. I looked at this quite carefully. Oh, I hate being so sceptical sometimes. Now, I pinpointed where this figure is supposed to be in the zoomed out or in the original photograph. I can't see the figure.
No, neither can I.
So
what I can see is a grave that is set back behind. No,
that's right. There's a grave in front which has got like a bobble and then a thing, and then straight behind that there's another grave with a tiny light reflection coming off of it on the corner. Also, there's light reflecting from the leaves in the tree.
I found it. But so if you look at the original, and you look at the tombstone that's got the light reflecting on it, directly to the left of that is like a blurred grey in the right at the edge of the photo.
It is exactly right at the edge of the photo, but it's not exact, because if you look at the light reflection in the tree above it, and then you go back to the zoomed photo and you look where the light reflection is on the tree, that figure wouldn't be in the original photo.
No, I truly believe that from the original photo, it looks like just a change of greenery, because that colour is consistent to other bits of greenery that's in that area. But if you look in the actual photo, that looks to me to be a grave, or that looks to me like a cross, like a cross grave, like a funny shaped cross grave. But again, I mean, the problem we have. I mean, it's a great photo because it highlights so many problems with photos. In the way that we document paranormal, there's nothing with these kind of grainy, kind of, not focused in. Have to draw a circle around what I'm looking at. Kind of photos are really hard. With it, the highlights the massive problems we have with photographic evidence. It's also opened up to interpretation. So what I'm seeing might not necessarily be what you see.
True.
Which then causes the conflict.
Well, all I'm looking at in that photograph is the light reflections and placement. And in my opinion, that figure is not... It would be slightly out of that shot. It wouldn't... It's not in there, in my opinion.
No,
so
I
how
agree.
they got that zoomed out, that zoomed in on that figure from that original photograph, I question. Now, I showed this to somebody... and they went, if you look at that figure, because of the way the figure's formulated, he went, that's photoshopped. And I was like, how do you know that's photoshopped? And he said, because of the blurring around the edge, and there's a really fine white line. I was like, white line? What are you looking at? Because I'm not an expert in this at all, and I could be completely wrong for all I know, but it's either a really weird case of pareidolia, and we know pareidolia can be incredibly convincing at times, or for me, just looking at placement of where the light reflections are coming off the trees, the light coming off the leaves in the trees and off of that gravestone that's set back, not the one that's in the foreground, but the one that's set back, that figure would not actually be in the original photograph or the main photograph, just out of pure placement. Great photo, though. Great photo of the cemetery. Regardless of the figure, it's still a great photo of a cemetery. But no, I'm like, on this one, I'm going to say this is fake. Complete fake. In my opinion. In my personal opinion.
Chat room, we have Carl, when we said about Zach being in part of the Mansion show, Carl says, no, Zach has nothing to do with the show. That show, that is Help My House in 40, which is correct, actually. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Carly said, I was more worried they don't know what they're doing and opening themselves up, which is true. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Donna also agrees that is worrying. Carl says, and what is... Oh, cool. Sorry, the shirt thing.
It's all right, Carl. It's all right, Carl. We'll get you getting your shirt off on investigations too soon.
That was part and parcel. I thought that was a given.
I thought that was...
No?
Yeah, no, you take your shirt off, I'll take mine.
Kerry,
Sorry, it's pre-watershed as well, my God.
That is completely inappropriate. It's nothing to do with paranormal.
I'm not sexist,
says,
just saying.
I've been on investigations where we've got told that there have been damaged places where they film, which is another aspect as well. You have to look at.
Yeah.
And Cole said he thought this show was all about the paranormal. It is when Paul's here. When he's not, me and Kerry are involved. And sadly, no.
We always go base when it's me and Kerry in the room.
Cole also says it's not paranormal unless it has a red or white circle around it. Very true. That's
yeah,
right.
Well, yeah. Or an arrow. You've got that arrow.
An arrow with a detailed subtitle of look here. Richard has joined us. Hello, Richard. Richard said, I would like to see more serious investigators going back to using film cameras as opposed to digital cameras, as over the past few years, digital photography has been totally discredited. I agree. Like, do you remember the Polaroids?
Yes,
cameras.
I do. Yes.
Do you remember?
God, yes. They were huge cameras you had to carry around with you. Yeah, I remember them distinctly.
And Paul said, "Yep, girls, that's absolutely fine. Let us know when, and he'll be there without his top on." So let's go.
Oh, cool, sweet.
Yeah, that's in chat as well.
He's so going to tell me off later.
Yes, so that's kind of where we are in regards to articles. So we actually got 10 minutes left of the show. And last week, I don't know if anyone remembered, but I asked if they could send in their stories. Because we were doing we do paranormal, but this season I was hoping that we could do things a little bit differently. So I went on to a girls only forum, It's for mums and that kind of jazz. So I've gone on there and I kind of put it out there to the mums if they've got any interesting stories that they wouldn't mind me sharing. And I had quite a lot of responses, which was really, really good.
Cool.
But one in particular that a lady that wrote on there, her name's Kirsty Lorraine, and she shared a little bit of insight. So what I want to do this time is, rather than share a story and end the show, I thought it'd be a good idea for us to maybe share this story and get your ideas of what may have happened. Now, Kirsty could be listening, so I want you to be respectful in the chat room and wherever me and Kerry say. So just to be aware that she may be there. So this is what Kirsty Lorraine said. I think there's a couple of stories in this. So pick where you feel you can critique or, might be able to get a bit of understanding for. So Kirsty says, I was babysitting for a friend once. Her stereo turned on and was playing the radio full blast. So I turned the stereo off by the plug. 15 minutes later, it turned back on and started playing full blast again, with the switches still turned off. Was upstairs putting the washing away when the TV turned on downstairs when there was no one down there. It had been turned on by physically pushing the button on the front of the TV. I felt the blanket move across me one night when I was young, felt the mattress dip, turned my head to see the spirit of my nan pulling the covers over her shoulder while with her back to me. She had died a few months previous. Safe to say, I was scared. And she uses a profanity, and we're not that kind of person. No, I lie. We are. She lie. She said. So that's the stories that she shared. There was quite a few, but I picked them ones because it had different aspects. So, in regards to electronics, what are your opinions of this? I know Carl's in the chat room, so let me know, Carl, what you think as well. But what do you think in regards to the electronics turning themselves on and off?
I think it's interesting that she says she turned it off by the plug.
Yeah.
Because if she hadn't turned it off by the plug, just by the stereo, then sometimes there's a delay or internal mechanisms will flick it back on. So I mean, I find that interesting. She turned it off by the plug, but all electrical devices do hold electricity within them even after you turned it off, so that's still a possibility. I'm not saying it's what happened, I'm just saying it's a possibility,
Yes. Carl says depends on what type of TV, old or new. Oh, you have to get so pedantic, don't you, Carl?
See, we don't know. You've got all the. I've just shared the story. It doesn't say, does it?
But then, you get a lot of the, people that do have experiences with past loved ones, and I think, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it brings you comfort. I think it's the same as like when you see a white feather. Now, if I'm with someone and I see a white feather, I'll assume that's for me. But when they see that white feather, they'll assume it's for them. Do you see what I mean? So we all have a kind of like comfort that we get from visitation. But I mean, that's quite vivid to say that she turned over and there was her nan was her back to her and the covers over her. I can't imagine what that must have felt like. But then in the same breath, I've also been in a position where I've had a really vivid dream. A really strange, vivid dream. That I could swear blind that I was awake during, if it weren't for the fact that I woke up from it. So, so it's lots of different kind of, although there's no explanations that could really define what has happened, there's lots of things that could happen. Electrical appliances will still draw power from the socket if it is.
I agree. They don't draw power from the socket, but they have that inside of them. There is a certain amount that they hold. So it's a possibility. I don't know all the details. I'm not an expert in this field at all, as Carl knows. But it's a possibility. I mean, I've had 2 occasions. One, I did a experiment live on air with a ghost app on my phone, and we was just, we had Brian Holloway on, and we was trying out an app that he had developed, and literally after that experiment my TV went on full blast. Now I only ever have it on 20. I never had the volume on 20. It was 100. That's how loud my TV went on, and it just switched itself on. Yeah, now that was that time. And another occasion, again, we were on air, we were doing something, and my TV just switched itself on. It's happened twice. Never has happened any other time, apart from when I've been on a show talking about a specific topic. Now, logically, or no, not logically, there is that leap of assumption that you go, oh God, because I was doing that experiment with that particular app, I've attracted an entity and that's how it's chosen to draw its attention to me. And on the second show, again, you could say that as well. Having said that, it could be purely coincidence and a fault within the TV. You don't know. Do you know what I mean? Now, it is strange because it hasn't happened any other time, but that's all I can say about that experience is it was strange. That doesn't make it paranormal. It could just be a coincidence. But because of the timing of it, that's why people jump to the assumption that it's to do with the spirit and it's paranormal. And that's what I would say on this. Sometimes you have to be very, very careful that it's not just a coincidence, that it is possibly, maybe, a spirit trying to attract attention. Well, it certainly got my attention because I had to leave the show and go and turn the blinking TV off because it was so loud everyone could hear it. You know, and it was strange. The timing of that particular incident, or two different incidents on two different shows. So it was strange that the TV has done that. And I say it's never done it since. It's never done it when I've been home doing housework or washing up or anything like that. So that it is strange, but is it paranormal or is it just coincidence? I don't know. Now, if I
don't necessarily believe in coincidence, to be fair.
See, it's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, my TV is not the youngest TV in the world. I will put that out there. It's getting a bit old in the tooth for TVs these days. And it has got certain quirks, should we say, about it already. I mean, it's getting, it's getting to probably the end of its life. I'm eking it out as long as I can. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a Samsung. It's a 42-inch flat screen. It's not that old. But nowadays, in terms of age, technology has moved on even in the last 5 years. Do you know what I mean? So it could be just an internal fault that just happens to happen. It just has happened to happen at that particular point in time. It is a little strange, the timing of that, and the fact that the volume goes up to 100 when I only ever listen to the TV at the volume level of 20.
Yes.
That's quite weird. But again, it could be coincidence. It could be until somebody comes along and fiddles with it, I suppose. I don't know if I suppose I'll ever find the answer. I would say the timing of it was the strangest part of it more than anything else. Because I say, the first time was with Brian Holloway on, we were doing a ghost app kind of experiment live on air. And the second time we were doing another show. But quite often when I'm doing shows, I've got this thing that I'm working on at the moment, and that I have a crystal room just behind me where I do the shows, where I keep all my, where I do all my energy work and stuff like that. And I've got this box in the crystal room, and it moved, and I could hear it moving while I was on air. So I have had experiences happen around me whilst doing shows on the paranormal. But again, I have that. I work very spiritually, so I do believe, but I also have a very logical, sceptical mind as well. So I do kind of view it from across the fence, as it were. I have splinters. That's all I can say. So on this one, I would obviously, we need further investigation as to what the stereo was, and look into the TV that she's got. Because again, physically pushing the button on the front of the TV, yes, you have to press the button on the front of the TV on mine. But like I say, it could just be one of those things that happened at that particular point in time that just made it seem stranger than it possibly was. I don't know. Having said that, I've witnessed spirit in my home.
I remember that.
Yes, as you know.
That was horrible.
Had to phone you up and go, Kerry, tune into my house. What can you sense?
I know that when we went to the Smugglers Inn, the pub that's there's a pub where we live that's been that was allegedly, and I think it was actually featured in a Charles Dickens book called The Smugglers Inn. It's no longer called that. But we went there for an impromptu investigation, and there was a man circling the perimeter of the house. Yeah, and it was very uncomfortable. for those that believe that, you know, spirits exist, and for those that believe that some people can sense them, we sensed him.
Oh, God, yeah, he was there.
Oh, even now it's giving me the heebies.
I had to take him to, I took him back to the boatyard in the end, didn't I?
Yes, yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I went, come with me, you're coming with me. And he came with me, and I took him over to the boatyard, which wasn't the same location, but for some reason he seemed quite happy at this boatyard and stayed there. Never came back again. Felt such a weirdo. Never felt such a weirdo in my entire life. Go on, off you go to the boatyard.
Yeah, so that was really, really strange.
So I have had experiences. I sometimes come across like I've not ever had an experience. I'm very sceptical. I look at things in a very, skeptical or cynical way, but I don't, because I work actually very, very spiritually in the field. When I go, how I work is very spiritual. So when I look at cases like this, it just raises a lot of questions for me and a lot of possibilities for me. So I look at the electrics, and now I know a little bit more than I used to know. I wouldn't necessarily jump to a paranormal or spiritual perspective on that. I would look at it in a little bit more of a different way. But I'm not saying she didn't have an experience with her nan, particularly, they are very... I knew, even though I was in a foreign country, when my nan had passed. My other nan, when she passed, I remember I was sitting there with friends and we were just having a night in because she was really ill in hospital. It was basically waiting for the phone call. The time she died, I turned round and said, she's just gone. And those experiences I can't explain. I just knew. Do you know what I mean? And I've got people that I said stuff to at that time that will go, yeah, you did, and it was at that time, and we can prove that it was at that time because we've got the death certificate for that time. Do you know what I mean? So I've got that very personal verification, not it probably wouldn't stand up in front of an SPR or an ASAP, but I've got those kind of verifications for myself that happened. You know what I mean? So when she says she had this experience of her nan, I have no doubt that she had that experience because that's so personal to her. And I do think our family do visit us and let us know that they're okay. That they're okay. Whether or not that's through TVs turning on or, signs and symbols in other ways, I don't know. But when she says that, she felt the mattress dip, she turned her head to the right and saw the spirit of her nan, I believe she had that experience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do as well. And they always say as well in regards to experiences, there's that age-old philosophy, I think, therefore I am. So, it also highlights that sometimes people experience what they experience, regardless of what other people think that experience happened. It might not necessarily be in the way that they think they experienced that, but they experienced something. I don't agree that she hasn't experienced something, but what that could have been, no idea. No. It's interesting, and it's great to share these kind of stories. So again, you're welcome to sharing your stories, and we will share them again. You will get accredited for that. We will say your name, and if you represent the paranormal team, or wherever we can kind of let everyone know that that's who you are and that's who you work for, and that's your story, and we'll discuss it the way we've discussed this one this evening. But we've actually come to the end of the show. We've actually got another show coming up right after this, the Dark Mirror.
The Dark Mirror show.
Oh, you're looking forward to this one. What's going on?
I will warn you guys, we pre-recorded this show earlier in the week because bless Mark, he's had to work tonight, so we had to pre-record it. So I know what treats you've got coming up.
Yeah.
Please don't miss it. Please miss it. Please don't miss
it. Don't miss it. Enjoy it. Do you know what? The best thing I think about the paranormal is hearing other people's perspectives.
All I can say is I couldn't finish the show. That's all I'm saying on it.
Wow.
Kerry Ann, you've got to listen to this one.
I will be listening his note.
Oh, God.
So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to share your story, Kirsty Lorraine. And thank you for listening to our interpretations of the articles that we found. If you come across a paranormal article that you'd like to hear discussed on the show next week, then please feel free to send it into the like page of Parasearch Radio. And likewise, if you have any stories that you want to share, that you want discussed, and again, please send it into Parasearch Radio. I will be back with Paul next week, Paul Rook. So it'll be the usual kind of out there kind of stuff. Oh, I can't believe it. I cannot believe. Anyway, so thank you so much for listening, guys. Thank you for joining us, and please stay tuned. Just refresh the page when this show finishes to listen to the Dark Mirror Show with Kerry, Greenaway, and Mark Manley. And did you have a guest?
Yeah, no, we had Kaz as well. Kaz tends to join us on a Friday as well.
And Kaz as well. So great stuff. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.